What's up, boys? I'm taking a look at some more NBA player props today over on prizepicks. Prizepicks is my favorite website and app for some player props. And use code DOMG when you guys do go ahead and sign up. It's available in most states and Canada. So yeah, use code DOMG when you guys do go ahead and sign up. They match their first deposit 100% up to $100. A bunch of you guys have been using my code. I seriously do appreciate it because it helps me out. Helps you guys out as well. Again, 100% deposit match up to $100. We're gonna go ahead and hop into this here. I got 3 for you guys. Tuesday is kind of the day where I'm the most swamped. So that's why I only got 3 for you guys. I want to get this video up too before the Taco Tuesday player props come out, which if you guys don't know and aren't on prizepicks, another reason I highly recommend joining. They do discounts every Tuesday. For the past, I think it's been like 2 or 3 months at this point, maybe even 4. They've been doing Taco Tuesday props. So it's awesome. Like today could be Kid Cunningham, and they might drop him down from 17.5 to 14.5 points. Pretty good deal. So we don't know what it is going to be yet, but usually they let the community vote on this too. So pretty good. But also, today is the best day to go ahead and join the Patreon if you guys are interested in joining. So last month, it wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, but to be fully transparent about that, we were 73 and 48. And I expected it to be, I didn't track the units, but I am going to start tracking units for the video and on the Patreon. But I would expect it to be up about 8 units last month, which isn't exactly where I want it to be. So we're definitely trying to be a little bit better this month, which I believe we definitely will be. So yeah. Let's go ahead though and talk about some of these player props here. I'm going to start tracking units between these. But yesterday was 2, 1, and 1 in the video. So I think that pretty much covers everything though. Just make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. Seriously does help me out when you guys do that. Turn post notifications, that helps me out. But yeah, so we already covered that. Patreon recap. Patreon recap, we were 4 and 2 yesterday, up a couple units, so that was pretty good. Video, like I said, 2, 1, and 1. And then yeah, all the links in the description. There's a free Discord link. We've been doing very, very good over there. Talking all the time. Again, it's completely free. People give their free research all the time over there. Got an NFL section and a basketball section of like a total of 3 guys doing the research together, and they've been awesome over there. Seriously do appreciate those guys. They know who they are. But go ahead and join the Discord if you guys aren't already down there. And then also the prizepicks and Patreon links are in the description. Sorry for the really, really long intro. It's the first of the month. Had to get a lot out of the way here. So let's go ahead though and talk about some of these player props here. So I got 2 assists and 1 rebound for you guys. So let's go ahead and start off with one here. This is probably a day where I'm not going to rank these guys because it's kind of tough to rank these guys, to be honest. But I like Jason Tatum over 3.5 assists to start off the night. So 4.6 average in his last 5 games here. So he did miss against Indiana, which is a little bit scary. But actually, I mean, that's counting the LeBron game. So I'm not sure if he's technically 4 out of 5. But if you take more of a look into this one, he's a minus 135 to hit this over. He's hitting 56% of his games this season. He has hit in 7 out of his last 10 games. And he's 2 for 3 this season versus Atlanta. But he missed. Jeez, can't talk today apparently. He missed in his most recent matchup, which was kind of scary, which I think was only like 7 games or so ago. But the other matchup where he had 4 was pretty recent as well. So we'll see how he does today against Atlanta. But I believe the matchup is pretty good. But we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that. But this is a 6-point spread, 227.5 over under. So it should be a pretty good spot for him to grab some assists. It looks like it's a decently high over under. So it should hopefully be a lot of baskets made. And 6-point spread really shouldn't hopefully be a blowout, although there was a lot of blowouts yesterday. So I think a lot of people had a tough day yesterday for the most part. So let's take a look, though, at small forward going against the Atlanta Hawks. This is 7:30 tonight. Let's take a look here. Season long. This website is called Rotowire NBA Starting Lineups. This website is called FanDuel NBA Defense versus Position. So just keep that in mind. But let's go to assists here and what the Hawks are allowing to the small forward. And the Hawks actually are a little bit better to the assists against the small forward position. I know as a team they allow a lot of assists, especially to like the guard position, and all that different stuff. But 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, they're the 9th toughest assist-wise to the small forward position. And in the last 7 games here, Atlanta is also still kind of on the tougher side here. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think they're the 12th toughest there to the small forward assist-wise. So it's going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup. He's proved that he can get it done in the past. And, I mean, he's on a kind of a streak here. 7 out of 10 in his last 10 games is pretty good. So we'll see how he can get it done tonight against Atlanta to make it 3 out of 4 in the last 4 times against Atlanta. So we'll see how it goes tonight for Jason Tatum. But he's one that I'm definitely eyeing. And always do your own research, by the way. Don't go off of directly just what I say. Always take these with a grain of salt. A lot of things change throughout the day, so do keep that in mind. I mean, I'm recording this at 11 right now, 11 in the morning, so just keep that in mind. A lot of things do end up changing. But let's take a look, though, at Trey Young. I just always recommend to wait. Oh, they bumped him. They bumped Trey Young. I knew they were going to do it. I tried to get this video up, and they bumped it. He was at 8.5 assists earlier. Now he's at 9. I still like it at 9. Obviously, there's just a higher push chance of him pushing there, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but you'd kind of rather win than have a push, but you'd also rather push than have a loss, so it just happens. But I completely lost my thought there. I forget what I was going to say. Just always do your own research. More of the story. I usually like my lineups in like an hour before game time, so just always keep that in mind, because a lot of things change with like health and protocols, all the different stuff that's still kind of going on. A lot of last minute players going out and all that, but Trey Young over, I guess, 9 assists now, but all these stats that I have here are for over 8.5 assists, so he's a minus 125 to hit the over at 8.5 assists. He's hitting 69% of his games. He's hitting 8 out of his last 10 games. He is 2 for 3 versus Boston this season with 11, and then 6 in the second matchup, and then 10 in the second. So his hit rate against Boston doesn't change even with him being at 9. So all of those tracked for 9 then, when I am tracking the units and all that different stuff. So everything's 1 unit, by the way, unless I say otherwise, but all these are just 1 unit. So all right, let's take a look though at Boston. This matchup and all that, but 3 out of 5 in his last 5 games, so that's counting the LeBron game. So I know they have that in the last 5 games, but that's kind of part of the reason I do the last 10 on my own, but I'll tell you guys that. But let's take a look at this one here. So point guard going against the Boston Celtics here is at 7:30 tonight. So 6-point spread, 227.5 over under. Already talked about that. The last one here is not from that game, I promise. But let's take a look at season-long point guard assists versus the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics here are known for being a really tough matchup for assists. So I knew that going into this one, but they are on the second least amount of rebounds to the point guard position, which is not exactly desirable, but it is what it is. And again, last 7 games, it's consistent about being a really, really tough matchup. Thing is, though, that's kind of put me off of, still keep me on this, is that he's been able to get it done in the past. Like I said, he had 11 in the first matchup, 6 in the second. He had 10 in the third, which is the most recent one. So I definitely do like Trey Young, despite the matchup here. I think the odds are in his favor to hit this over. And I mean, 7 out of 10 hit rate in his last 10 games. He's stayed consistent with it a little bit. I'm sorry, he's actually 8 out of 10 in his last 10 games, 69% of the season. I think even with the matchup, he can still hopefully get this one done, but just be aware of the matchup going into that one and be aware of them bumping. I'm not usually a big fan of player props being bumped, so so be aware of that one. But yeah, it's an interesting one right there. Let's take a look at our last player prop of the day here. We're going to go with rebounds here. We're going to go with one that I've not taken on the channel, and that's Terance Mann. It's definitely an interesting one because I'm not a big fan of taking shooting guard rebounds, which I believe he's a shooting guard. Do they have him listed as shooting guard? They do. So, and he's at 5.5. So that's a little bit interesting one, but he has been able to get it done in the past, especially against his Houston Rockets team. So he's a minus 120 to hit this over. He is hitting 40% of his games this season, but he is 7 out of 10 in his last 10 games. So he's been rebounding the ball quite a bit lately. He's also 2 for 2 this season versus Houston, with 8 in the first matchup and 8 in the second matchup. So in the second matchup was right there, February 27th and February 17th. So those are the 2 matchups against Houston. And these were both super, super recent. He had 8 rebounds in both of them. So that's a pretty good look between the odds, the hit rate, and the past matchup with the team. So that kind of checks 3 boxes on my player prop checklist, I guess. But he's averaging 7.2 in his last 5 games. So that's kind of bumped up by these last 3 games. So he's been on a hot streak, though, rebounding the ball, which is good news there for Terance Mann. So let's take a look at this. Shooting guard going against the Houston Rockets. It's a 7-point spread, so there is a tiny bit of blowout potential, but it is a 229.5 over under, which means there should be hopefully kind of a faster paced game with a lot of shots going up, at least hopefully. So let's take a look at this though. So shooting guard season long rebounds versus the Houston Rockets. And the Houston Rockets are definitely on the easier side here. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're on the 9th most rebounds to the shooting guard position so far this season. And in the last 7 games here, the Houston Rockets are allowing the 6th most rebounds to the shooting guard position in the last 7 games per game. So pretty good spot right there for Terance Mann, I'd say, to go ahead and good his over on 5.5 rebounds. But that's going to do it for today's video, man. I seriously do appreciate you guys watching this video. If anyone is new, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your post notifications. Seriously does help me out. If you guys are just enjoying the Patreon, that link is in the description. I want to be transparent about that with the record and all that from last month and all that. So if that's something you guys seem interested in, go ahead and join. It's the best time to join if you guys wish. But I think that pretty much covers everything, man. Use code DOMG again on prizepicks. Seriously do appreciate you guys when you guys do use my code. But that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.